Hey everyone, Christian here, back again with another science video. Today we're going to be introducing you guys to our brand new STEM kits for the month of February, and all of these are going to be chemistry themed. So if you want to get your hands on one of these kits, make sure you stop by the Science Center sometime in the month of February. If you already got your hands on one of these kits, make sure you stick around. That way we'll show you guys what you can find inside and how to actually do these experiments. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, inside of these kits, we're going to find some awesome activities. We'll go ahead and start with our first activity, our polymer grown crystals. Now, inside of this kit, you're actually going to get some really cool crystals, and these crystals are going to be polymers. Now, polymers are going to form when long chains of molecules are going to chemically link up, and this chemical linking is actually going to give our polymers some specific and special properties. Specifically, in these grow crystals, these crystals have the property of being super absorbent, where they can absorb a lot more water than their weight, about 300 times more water than just the weight of the crystals. So you can actually see these crystals grow from right at home just by taking some of these crystals and adding water to it. You can either add the crystals to a piece of paper like so, or you can simply keep the crystals in a bag and add some water into that bag. Now, after you actually add the water into the bag, you'll see those crystals will absorb and grow to many times the actual size. Let's go ahead and demonstrate that now. So we're going to go ahead and take our crystals, put them back inside of our bag, and just take our little eyedropper here with some water and add some water into that bag. Now, you're not going to see this happen immediately. It may take some time. So what I want you guys to try and do, put some water in this bag overnight and see how much these crystals are going to grow based on how much water you add. The cool thing about these crystals is that even after they grow, you can actually let them dehydrate or lose all of their water and repeat this experiment as many times as you like. So go ahead and try it with different amounts of water. Maybe start with a little bit, add some more, or start with a lot. You can start to cut back. But this experiment does require a little bit of patience. So go ahead, try it at home and see what you can do. Now, the second activity is going to be our density to experiment. So once you open up this bag, you'll find really cool objects that will help us study density. Now, density is essentially a measure of how much mass is going to be in a specific amount of volume, occupying a specific amount of space. So we can actually very easily test density by using this tube and some of the provided materials, some beads, some sequins, and some glitter. Now, inside of that test tube is going to be baby oil. And how we can actually test the density of these different objects and compare their densities is actually adding them to liquid and seeing whether they sink or float. And you can actually do this with multiple different liquids. We start with baby oil in the test tube, but you can actually add water to it as well to see how the density of water will compare to the density of oil. So let's go ahead and add in some of our solids, right? So you should take your bag, carefully add in some of those beads and sequins, and then you can see whether they're going to sink or float. So you can see some of the heavier objects will sink down to the bottom, and some of the lighter objects will float. But again, you can also compare the density of oil to water as well by adding some water in the test tube. Now you can continue to expand your density tube by adding different liquids. Try experimenting with some liquids you have in the house. Maybe some milk or some honey, maple syrup, dish soap, any different type of liquid. You can see how that density is going to compare to the other liquids already in the test tube. Remember, the liquids that are less dense are going to float on top. The liquids that are more dense will sink more towards the bottom. And for our final STEM bag, we're going to do a version of the classic baking soda and vinegar experiment with our self-inflating balloon. And we give you all the materials you'll need to actually complete this experiment. So let's go ahead and just walk you through it real quick. First, you're going to go ahead and find your test tube with your balloon and your baking soda. So the first thing you're going to do is actually get baking soda into that balloon. But it may be a little bit difficult at first. But using the given piece of cardstock, you can actually create a funnel that will help you easily get the baking soda from the bag into the balloon. So first, just create that funnel. You want to make sure you stick it into the end of your balloon. And then once you have it nice and secure, go ahead and open up your bag of baking soda and make sure you pour it down into the balloon, trying to get as much of it in there as possible. You're going to need all of this baking soda to make it possible. Now, once you get all the baking soda in there, you're going to want to make sure you're very careful with the balloon so you don't spill out any baking soda. And then you're going to go ahead and grab your test tube filled with vinegar. Just carefully remove the cap from that. And then you're going to secure the bottom end of the balloon over the lid or over the top of your test tube. But make sure that none of the baking soda spills in until you have it nice and secure. Once it's all secure on there, you're going to go ahead and just carefully lift up on the back end of your balloon and drop the baking soda into the test tube. And watch the science experiment happen. Now what you'll see is inside the test tube, the vinegar and baking soda are going to react together, and that reaction is actually going to give off some gas in the form of carbon dioxide. Now carbon dioxide has nowhere to go, so with that air pressure being filled, it'll actually escape up into the balloon, and you've just created your own self-inflating balloon. Now it might be a smart idea to make sure you hold that balloon on nice and tight, because if you let it go, it might pop right off the top. So another awesome experiment you guys can test at home. Are there any other chemicals that you know can mix together to make a reaction? Go ahead and drop those in the comments down below if you know of any others. All right, there you guys have it. A closer look at the 3 STEM bags that we have for the month of February. Now, if you want to get your hands on one of these STEM bags, just go ahead and make sure you come into the Science Center throughout the month of February, and you'll be giving them out at 11:30 a.m. These are first come, first serve, so don't wait. Don't want to come to the Science Center or can't possibly make it? No worries. You can actually buy these STEM kits online on our website at www.sfsciencecenter.org. We thank you guys for watching. I'm Christian. We'll see you guys next time.